Hi everyone, welcome back to Paulina's Global Flavors. This episode marks the last episode of season 1. I can't believe we've done an entire season. I'm going to take a break and I'm going to kick off the fall season with season 2 with another set of fun recipes. But tonight we're going to make something special. We're going to make a Lao dinner and we're going to make Lao Khao Niew, which is Lao sticky rice. I have an assortment of baskets behind me because I'm actually going to show you how we make Lao sticky rice or Lao Khao Niew steamed above water and not boiled in water. And so it's an exciting and fun process and I can't wait to show you. Tonight for our recipe, we're going to make the Lao Khao Niew. We're also going to barbecue beef, so tri tip on the barbecuer. And then lastly, we're going to make a spicy dipping sauce with eggplant, chili peppers, garlic, a head of shallot, and green onions. And I can't wait to show you all of this coming together. And I have an assortment of baskets behind me because baskets are near and dear to my culture. It is near and dear to my life. Baskets have been used in ancient times. They've been used in today's modern world, and they will continue to be used throughout the world now and into the future. Just a real quick overview. This is what I call traditional normal rice. So when this is cooked, it allows more moisture content, and so it's fluffier, it's lighter. Typically you eat with a spoon, a fork, chopsticks, on a bowl, on a plate, whereas this is referred to as glutinous rice. Not because it has gluten, because all rice are gluten-free, but it's because of the texture and just the makeup of the rice in itself that when it's cooked, it becomes dense, congeals together, and so also referred to as sweet rice or sticky rice. This is the staple of food and cuisine in Laos. So the Lao people eat this. This is called khao niew. So sticky rice, khao is rice, niew is sticky. And we eat this day in and day out. And this is what I'm going to cook tonight for dinner. And I have here a bowl, a large bowl, and we're going to put, so each of the scoop here is about a half cup. So that's a half cup, and that's a full cup. Now, when you soak this for hours, overnight is best, it's going to almost double in size. So you'll want to have enough water in here. And I'm actually going to make quite a bit because in another episode, I'm going to make Lao sweet and salty rice cakes. So that is about 2 cups there. And I'm actually going to do 3 cups total. So that's 3 cups total. And we're going to fill it with water. And with any rice, you want to wash it. You want to wash it really, really well, or rinse it. So you'll just do this, right? And just squeeze lightly between your fingers, and you can already see the milky color. Right, so do that, swish it around. See how milky that is? Right, and then you'll pour that out, and you'll repeat the cycle until the water runs clear, or somewhat clear. And this typically takes 5 to 7, sometimes 12, depending on how much you have here. So you'll repeat the cycle over and over until the water runs clear. Kind of massage it. And then we're going to dump the excess water, the milky water, and then we'll do it again. I am back. It actually took me 10 full rinse to get to this color of clearness. It's not as cloudy as the other one, but you can see that it's clear. You can see the grains. So you want to fill enough water because remember, it's going to swell up double in size. If you can prepare this overnight and just let it sit out on the counter, but if you're in a hot climate, you don't want the rice to start fermenting because the water starts getting warm, you can stick it in a cool place, a refrigerator, that's fine. And minimum of 2 hours, I would say. More is better. So dinner isn't until tonight. I have about 6 hours. So I'm just going to let this sit on the counter and to let it soak in the water. And this is very, very important for the sweet rice or the glutinous rice because it needs moisture, unlike the other rice where when you cook it, you're actually boiling the other rice. So the traditional normal rice, you're actually boiling this. Whereas this, I'm going to show you how the Lao people do it, and we're actually going to steam it in a bamboo cone-shaped basket above water. This is literally steamed rice. Lao Khao Niew, Lao sticky rice, is steamed above water, whereas the other traditional normal rice is boiled in water with the lid on. So I'm excited to show you all of this when we get to that hour. The reason why we want to wash it really, really well is because, simply put, you want clean rice. So think about the journey of the rice when it comes from the plant onto your plate. It's important that we wash out the impurities, basically washing it out, washing out the dirt, the dust, bugs. And so that's why you want to rinse it really well. And then for this particular rice, the sweet rice, glutinous rice, or what we call sticky rice, Lao Khao Niew, we're going to soak it for a while and then we're going to cook it, which is so exciting. I can't wait to show you. Are you surprised that I have beef? Because I'm a meatitarian and I love, 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 love beef. So in addition to our Lao sticky rice or Lao Khao Niew, I am going to barbecue up some Lao barbecue. And we're using Tri Tip roast, and I'm just going to cut it up into segments. I got this from Walmart. I was on my way home and it was right there. So I stopped and grabbed some Tri Tip. Tri Tip is fatty, as you can see underneath. To trim or not to trim, it's completely up to you. I am going to do a little bit of trimming. You don't want to trim it completely because you don't want your meat to dry out as you're putting it on the barbecue. But you also don't have to have like an inch thick of fat hanging on. But fat is flavorful. Don't be afraid of using it, and you don't have to eat it when you cook it, of course. But a little bit of trimming is nice. And as I'm trimming this, I'm like, boy, I'm glad I'm trimming this. You can just see how thick it is right here, right? So you can do more or less, but again, the goal is to not dry this out. And again, I certainly am not going to be eating the fat, but I do like the fat cooking with the meat just because the flavoring. And as you can see the grains, so it's going this way, and on the view, it is horizontal as opposed to vertical. And so you don't want to cut it along the grain, right? Typically, you don't want to cut it along the grain because when you go to eat it, it's tougher. However, we are going to do that for this purpose because we are going to barbecue it into length segments. And then when we cut it, we're going to cut it against the grain. So I'm going to cut this into three segments evenly, as much as I can. Three total, right? So this is what I mean, right? So if you're going to eat this like this, it's going to be tough because it's with the grain. But when we cook it, when we barbecue it, we're actually going to cut it into segments like this. And so then we're cutting against the grain, and it'll be better on our jaws, our teeth, and we're just going to enjoy the yumminess that this is going to deliver us. So we're going to put this in a large mixing bowl because we're going to let it marinate. But what exactly are we going to marinate it with? I have here more concoction of ingredients. You see this is not going to go into it, but this is going to be one of the sauces. So one of the accompaniments to the khao niew, the sticky rice, in which it's going to be a more thicker sauce, almost like a gravy, but using eggplants, garlic, chives, also chili peppers, and all the yummy stuff. So I'm going to put this aside and we'll talk about it later. For the marinade, we're going to have garlic, right? So don't be afraid of using garlic. I'm going to use 2 cloves, and I'm going to put it in my mortar and pestle. And there are some remnants of cracked black pepper in here, which is fine because I'm going to put that in my marinade. So I'm going to stick that in there. That's good. My dear friend from Slovakia, Anna from Slovakia, got me this beautiful spoon. So because I love her dearly and I love the beautiful country of Slovakia, I am going to use the spoon in thinking about her. So there is the garlic, and I'm going to stick it in here. We have freshly cracked black pepper. I would say probably a good between 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of cracked black pepper, or maybe not even that. It's up to you. You don't want to overwhelm with cracked black pepper, but if you like that, then have at it. To soy sauce or not to soy sauce and use the seasoning sauce is up to you. I'm going to use the seasoning sauce, and that is about a teaspoon of seasoning sauce. I have 1/2 teaspoon of MSG because what Lao cooking is without MSG. And I'm going to put in about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Lately, I've been enjoying cooking with cooking wine. Now, this is optional. You don't have to use it. So I would say 1/2 teaspoon of that. Most of the marinades I do will have oyster sauce. 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of oyster sauce. And that's pretty much it for this. And, you know, because this is big chunks of meat, I know that some of the marinade ingredients might be like, is this going to make this too salty? But you got to keep in mind how thick this is, and all that yummy savoriness will need to penetrate through all those layers of protein and fat, if I'm honest. Yeah, and so you'll just get that in really, really well. This will do well overnight if you want to do this ahead of time. But because I just thought of this to do for this cooking episode, I'm going to let it marinate for 5 hours, which is going to be fine. And, you know, you just work it in, of course, with my beautiful gloves. Ooh, this smells good. Yummy. Ooh, garlic almost slipped away. My unicorn barbecuer is up to 500. That's perfect. So I'm going to put my Tri Tip fat side down. Ooh, scrumptious. Got my shades on. I'm gonna let that sear at 500 for 3 to 5 minutes, and then flip it, sear again for 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'll turn the heat down and then let it cook to medium or medium rare, and then it'll be done. Yummy! Ooh, dinner is almost ready and I just can't wait. So before I get the barbecuer started, I'm gonna go ahead and make the eggplant dipping sauce that we're going to eat with the sticky rice and also with the Tri Tip barbecue. So I've got dilapidated green onions. We're just gonna toss this all on the barbecuer. Oh, there goes one of my onions down there. A head of shallot. We're gonna put this on the skewer and roast it on the barbecuer. I've got chili peppers, super spicy from Mom's Garden. And then tons of lime because lime makes everything better. Am I going to use all of this? Absolutely not. I've got cilantro, cut it up, about 1 tablespoon. What Lao cuisine would not be complete without MSG? This is optional, you don't need to have it, but I like MSG in my food. This is a lot, so I'm just gonna use like a pinch of this or an 1/8 teaspoon. I've got my salt in here, ta-da! And then of course, fish sauce. So fish sauce won't be so fishy once we put the lime juice in, and it's just gonna marry well with all these ingredients. I've got my skewers soaking in water because my garlic and my chili peppers are going to be skewered, and I don't want them to burn when I put them on the barbecuer, and you wanna soak your skewer. And then when everything is done on the barbecuer, I'm gonna put it in my mortar and pestle and mash it up. Let's get started. The barbecuer is ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and skewer my garlic and my peppers. Now these garlic cloves are pretty thick, and to skewer them might be difficult. Let me see. Yeah, I really have to apply force. So what you can do is take your handy dandy mallet, a toothpick, and just poke little holes in them. So that way when you put the skewer through, it's just easier to go through. Let's go here. So see the holes right there? You can just stick your skewer through. That. Slide it down. And again, you'll want to soak your skewer in water. Ooh, this one's gonna rip open. Maybe, I don't know if there are thinner skewers, but, or if you have one of those trays with holes in it that you can put in the barbecuer, you can put the garlic cloves in there, or actually put the garlic cloves as a head in there with the, you know, with the casing. That way you're not burning the garlic inside. So we'll just finish this off, and now we'll do the chili peppers. That. This is going to be so good. That. There we go, and that's going to go on the barbecuer. I'm going to take you outside and we'll put this all on. We'll leave the lemons here. Okay, my barbecuer is reading 500 degrees, and so I'm going to stick these in there. But what you'll want to do with the eggplant is poke some holes in it. I've actually had exploding eggplants, and so you'll want to make sure that as this is cooking and as this is increasing in volume with all the gas and the steam that's being cooked, that there's somewhere for it to escape. Otherwise, it will explode. Believe me, it's happened to me more than once. Should have just happened once, and then I learned my lesson, but apparently I did not. So there you go. And then we're gonna stick all of this in. This will just go on. Same with this. You know, I guess these can go on now, and then when they're cooked or when they're charred, we can take them out. And this will just set like that, okay? Ooh, I can already start smelling the garlic and the onions already cooking. Okay, this remains at 500. This is practically done. Look how charred that is. Ooh, that might be a little bit too charred, but that's okay. That's okay. This is really what I want. And this is ready. That's a beautiful color. And then the eggplant, that is perfectly okay because we're going to strip away the skin, right? So we're not going to be eating that burnt stuff. We're going to be stripping away the skin and taking the ooey gooey inside. Same with this. And this will just turn there. Okay, we'll probably give it 5 more minutes and then we're done. I'm going to add salt. So I'm going to do 2 pinches, which equate about, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So this is what it looks like. There. And then I'm going to mash away. You'll want to mash it to a consistency of almost paste-like. So with everything in there so far, it looks like this. My tri-tip steaks are cooking away, and now everything is basically in order. We're gonna peel off the skin, put it in our mortar and pestle. Ooh, look at that. Since I have gloves on, I just peel away. You can use a spoon to do this. There's that. And now that I don't need to get my hands dirty, I can just peel away the gloves. And we're gonna cut up lime juice. I would say 2 tablespoons of lime juice. Ooh, I can smell the garlic, the shallots, and the onions in here. And then, of course, you'll want to do a healthy dose, a tablespoon of fish sauce. And then you don't want to mash it hard because all that juice will squirt up into your eyeballs. So you'll want to do a swishing, swirling technique. That. That's beautiful. 1 tablespoon worth of cilantro. We'll go ahead and put it in there. And then you'll swish again. Take your finger, taste it. Oh my gosh. Incredible. That's pretty much it. My cone-shaped steaming basket has been soaking in water for some time now. And this is because we want the rice, when we steam it, to not stick on this bamboo basket. So we'll just remove the water. And here is my soaked rice. It's been soaking for about 5.5 hours. And we're just gonna dump the whole thing in here. Make sure you get all the grains. There's that in the cone-shaped basket, and it's going to go in the steamer. Okay, this has been boiling. We've got boiling water in this pot, and we're going to put the basket in here, like so. Okay. And see how it's going to sit right above the water, the boiling water. And for it to cook faster, I typically put a lid on. That's good. So the lid goes on. And we're going to steam this for 15 minutes, and then we're going to toss this up in the air, and then flip it and cook it for another 5 to 10 minutes on the other side. There's that. You'll press it on a hard surface, just to loosen the bottom. Here we go. Ooh. Not flipping. There we go. Okay. Goes back into the steamer for 5 minutes. Behind me, I have a grouping of baskets. Baskets have been used across ancient times, today's modern times, and it'll be used into the future. It has been used to store food, and this is a Lao Khao Niew basket. So it holds Lao sticky rice. The rice is done. We flipped it, and now we're going to put it in the basket. Just break it apart a little bit so that way some of the steam can come out. And then our basket. Right. Ooh, that is hot. The tri-tip steaks have been resting for about 5, maybe 10 minutes. So now we're going to cut it against the grain. Ooh, that's perfect. Wow, look at that color. That's beautiful. I like it that temperature, which is medium. Ooh, this looks good. Eggplant dipping sauce, tri-tip, and my own personal rice basket. Look at that. Thank you for catching another episode of Paulina's Global Flavors. I hope you like and I hope you subscribe, and I can't wait to make another one of my creations. Have a good night.